Something in you has shifted, and though the world looks the same, nothing feels quite like it did before. There's a silence that wasn't there, a stillness humming beneath your daily motions, as if life itself is holding its breath, waiting. You can't quite name it, but deep in your chest, something ancient stirs. You are changing, and the change is not small. It is seismic. You are no longer the echo of your past fears or the ghost of old longings. You are becoming whole, and in that wholeness, your very presence begins to glow. Not loud, not obvious, but unmistakable to the eyes that can see. There is a quiet fire in your aura now, a sacred signal that requires no words, no chasing, no explaining. It speaks directly to destiny, telling it, I'm ready, not desperate, not dreaming, ready. The soul you're meant to meet, truly meant for, doesn't respond to your looks, your wit, your charm. It responds to this signal, this subtle frequency your aura now emits. And you didn't even have to try. It happened the moment you stopped trying to be anything other than true. You surrendered the need to search, to prove, to grasp at passing shadows. And in that surrender, you became magnetic. Not because you want love, but because you've become the kind of person love is drawn to. There's a calm now where anxiety used to live, an awareness blooming in place of longing. Your thoughts are clearer, your breath deeper, your dreams strangely vivid. Faces you've never met feel familiar. Symbols repeat. Music plays and it feels like prophecy. The world begins to speak in patterns, messages not written in ink but in energy. The soul doesn't need logic to understand these things. It just knows. And what it knows now is this: something is coming. Not because you need it, but because you're finally able to hold it. You feel it in your body, not as restlessness, but as readiness. That gentle stirring of the heart that says, I am not waiting, I am preparing. Old connections start to fade, not in conflict, but in peace. You don't cling anymore. You don't panic when someone drifts away, because your energy no longer fits what it once tolerated. And that's not loss, that's alignment. People might not understand this new version of you. Some may grow distant, confused by your calm. Let them. You are not shrinking back into roles that kept you small. Your aura is clearing the way. What doesn't match your frequency can no longer stay, and that's sacred. You notice signs, numbers aligning, strange repetitions, moments that feel too perfect to be accidents. These are not coincidences. They're confirmations, echoes of your soul calling out, and the universe answering back, yes, keep going. You are no longer afraid of your own company. Your solitude feels like a sanctuary now. You sit in it not as punishment, but as preparation, because something in you knows what's coming is not small, not fleeting, not shallow. It's real, and it's drawn to you because you've done the work. You've become the frequency of love itself, not love as fantasy, but love as truth. There's a moment when everything you once craved begins to lose its grip on you. The chaos that once thrilled you, the chase that once gave you purpose, all of it feels foreign now. Something within you has shifted, something subtle yet profound. The noise has quieted, the ache has softened. What once pulled you in now passes through you, unnoticed, because you're not who you used to be, and neither is your energy. You no longer beg to be seen. You stand, radiant, without performance. You don't reach for love like a lifeline anymore. You breathe it, you live it. It's not a prize out there in someone else's hands. It's the essence you're made of, and that realization changes everything. You're not waiting to be chosen. You've already chosen yourself, fully, without hesitation. That kind of wholeness can't be faked. It echoes through your aura like a song only the right soul can hear. There's someone out there hearing it now, not with their ears, but with something deeper, a knowing, a pull, a stirring that begins before the eyes ever meet. Their soul responds to the quiet power you've become, and you can feel them too. Maybe not as a name or a face, but as presence, as calm, as a promise whispered through the stillness of an ordinary day. You don't crave escape anymore. You crave substance. You crave something that builds, something that roots. Your past wounds no longer dictate your desires. They've become wisdom now, etched deep into your bones, woven into your energy. And that wisdom is unmistakable. It shines through in the way you move, the way you speak, the way you no longer shrink to fit into places you've outgrown. The world feels different because you are different. There's no more chasing, no more pretending, no more settling for half-hearted love just to avoid the silence. Because the silence no longer scares you. It nurtures you. It reminds you of everything you've survived and everything you're becoming. Now your energy speaks louder than your words ever could. It says, I am not waiting for someone to complete me. I have become the home I used to search for. That message doesn't go unnoticed. It reaches places you can't see. It touches a soul that's also walked through fire, also done the work, also refused to settle. And in their own way, they're on their way to you. Not because they need you, but because they recognize you. You're not performing anymore. You're not dressing up your wounds as something poetic. You're not chasing illusions or romanticizing pain. You've outgrown the story of almost. Your eyes, once full of longing, now carry a stillness that doesn't need to prove itself. And people notice, even if they can't explain why. Something about you feels different now, certain, rooted, real. And this is why it's coming. Not because you're striving, but because you're aligned. Because your energy no longer confuses urgency for love. Because your boundaries are no longer a wall of fear, but a sanctuary of clarity. Because you've stopped speaking the language of lack, and now you speak truth, even in silence. You sense things before they unfold. You feel dishonesty in your body like a warning. And truth, you feel it settle like peace in your chest. That's your compass now. That's the direction you follow. No more noise, no more games. No more wandering through dim corridors looking for reflections of yourself in people who can't see. There's grace in the waiting now. There's strength in the stillness. You've made peace with the in-between. Because this isn't waiting in the way the world sees it. This is preparation. This is elevation. This is becoming so whole that when love arrives, it's not salvation. It's recognition. It's resonance. It's real. You're no longer the one who fears the pain of love. You've touched heartbreak, let it shape you, turned it into something beautiful. And now your energy doesn't tremble at the idea of connection, it welcomes it. Because it knows love is not here to complete you. It's here to meet you. You've reached a place where your own gaze is enough to feel seen. The whispers of doubt have grown quiet, replaced by a deep trust that doesn't need to shout to feel certain. The trust has become the foundation of your presence. Calm, steady, whole. And now your aura carries a clarity that repels confusion. No more shrinking, no more explaining. You validated your own existence, and it shows. You move through the world with intention, not urgency. There's a quiet purpose to you now, a fire that doesn't burn for attention, but for truth. And only those who can stand in that warmth without flinching are drawn in. Because your light no longer entertains shadows that aren't willing to transform. It's not perfection you crave, it's presence. Real, grounded, honest presence. And the one meant for you will feel safe in that energy, not because they need to be saved, but because they're arriving whole too. You've stopped reaching for love like a ladder out of loneliness. You see it now for what it truly is. A reflection, a sacred mirror. And because you've done the hard work of integrating your own shadow, you're ready to meet someone who's done the same. That kind of readiness doesn't need to chase. It simply calls, quietly, deeply, like a frequency only one soul can hear. And that soul is already listening. You're not passive. You're powerful in your patience. You don't rush what's meant for you because you know it can't miss you. That's not waiting, it's preparing. Every smile you offer now isn't for approval. It's an offering from a heart at peace. That peace says more than words ever could. It's the kind of signal the universe doesn't ignore. It draws in only the one who knows what it means to walk through fire and emerge whole. What used to dazzle you now dims. You're no longer fooled by the glitter of potential that never becomes presence. You've outgrown fantasy. Your soul craves foundation. And because of that, You no longer entertain anyone who only wants to dance in the sunlight, but won't stay through the storm. You've stood alone too many times to be impressed by someone who only shows up when it's easy. Now there's space in your life, not the aching kind, but the sacred kind. Space filled with possibility. You can feel something coming, not rushed, not forced, just rising, slow and certain, like the first light of morning. Your energy has cleared the path. Your spirit has swept the doorstep. Without even knowing it, you've prepared for someone you haven't met with every act of self-respect. You've softened with yourself in ways you never thought possible. The voice inside that once criticized now comforts. You've stopped demanding perfection and started honoring progress. That quiet compassion is magnetic. It wraps around you like warmth, and those who carry that same grace will feel it before they even see you. When the right soul crosses your path, it won't be your face they recognize. It'll be the silence you carry, the grounded peace that speaks without needing to speak. Your presence will feel like home, not because it's loud or impressive, but because it's real. And real is rare. You don't chase butterflies anymore. You've built a garden so full of truth, of care, of self-honor, that only what is meant to bloom there will find you. Butterflies don't need to be hunted. They arrive when the garden is ready, and yours is. You'll know them before you meet them. Not by sight, but by the way the world stills when you're near. A shift in breath, a resonance you can't explain. Your energy has already begun to hum with theirs. Long before your hands touch, your auras are already speaking the same language. Your past doesn't weigh you down anymore. It shapes nothing but your wisdom. The pain that once clouded your light has been alchemized into clarity. You no longer carry memory as a burden, you carry it as meaning. You no longer look for love to prove something. You are love, and that truth makes your energy undeniable. You've stopped performing. You've stopped shrinking to fit into spaces too small for your truth. You're not waiting to be picked. You're waiting to be seen, not for what you could be, but for who you already are. And when they arrive, it won't be to complete you. It'll be to meet you, right where you've always been becoming. Something has shifted so deeply within you that the world can feel it without you saying a word. You're no longer searching for someone to fill the empty spaces. You're seeking someone who sees how full you already are. Two whole beings choosing to meet, not from hunger, but from harmony. The dance of energies, not the clashing of needs. The pieces of yourself you once tried to hide have become the very parts that now shine. You've stopped apologizing for your existence. Your aura doesn't beg for approval. It celebrates truth. Every scar, every stumble, every rise has become part of your light. That light doesn't ask to be noticed. It simply exists, unmistakable and real. There's a strength in your presence now, one born from surviving what others will never see. You don't glow because life has been easy. You glow because you've kept walking through every fire and still found a way to love. Not just others, but yourself. And that kind of endurance can't be faked. It radiates in your silence. It lives in the curve of your smile, in the steadiness of your gaze. You don't need to look lovable. You are lovable. And because that truth is no longer a hope but a knowing, your aura no longer performs. It simply is. And in its quiet confidence, it attracts only what is ready, only what is real. You move differently now, not out of desperation, but devotion. Not to an idea of love, but to the feeling of it when it's true. You've stopped rehearsing what love should look like. You're preparing your heart to recognize it, to feel it, to hold it when it arrives. That preparation has softened you, but it hasn't weakened you. It's made you magnetic. You're not chasing attention. And yet people pause in your presence. They lower their voices. They speak more honestly. They feel something when they're near you, even if they can't name it. Your energy asks for truth without demanding it, because you've become the kind of person who no longer confuses chaos for connection. There's a serenity in your solitude, not the kind that numbs, but the kind that heals. You don't resist being alone. You've made peace with it. And in doing so, your aura has stopped chasing what it used to fear losing. That peace has become a soft gravitational pull. It doesn't scream, it invites. and only those who carry the same gentleness can enter. You don't open your heart quickly anymore, not because you're closed, but because you've cultivated discernment. You know what alignment feels like now, and your aura waits for it before opening the gates. You've stopped pretending. You no longer wear masks just to be loved. Your authenticity is your offering, and your light refuses to dim for comfort. You trust timing now in a way that most don't understand. You've surrendered the urgency. You don't need to push, to chase, to force. You know, deep in your bones, that what's meant for you will never ask you to become less. That knowing lives in your every breath, and it's encoded into your aura like a sacred song only one heart can hear. Your soulmate won't arrive to fix you. They'll arrive because you've already stitched yourself back together. Your pain has become art. Your sadness no longer overwhelms. It cleanses. And in that emotional alchemy, your aura becomes a quiet sanctuary, a harbor for the soul that has also known storms. You don't require proof of love anymore. You trust it the way you trust the rhythm of the sea, the rising of the moon, the returning of spring. You no longer beg the universe for signs. You are the sign, and your soulmate will recognize it, not in your words, but in your silence, the way your presence feels like memory, like home. You're not waiting in the passive sense. You are becoming, and everything about your energy reflects that devotion. Even your rituals, your prayers, your meditations, your reflections, they've shifted from habit to preparation. They're not performance, they're practice. Every breath you take now is a brick in the foundation of sacred union. You no longer crave those who cannot give you all of themselves. Your aura no longer dances with half-hearted energy. You don't open to what isn't present. You've lived through too many goodbyes to waste time on absence disguised as love. You've stopped defining your worth by the way others hold you. You've learned how to hold yourself. And in that wholeness, in that fullness, in that quiet strength, your aura speaks the one truth that changes everything. I am not waiting to be chosen. I am already the one. You no longer measure your life by what you're missing. You measure it by the love you've learned to live as. That love has become your signature, the invisible language your aura now speaks. You don't ask, when will I be loved? You ask, how can I love more truthfully, more fully, more gently? And that single shift has changed everything. The refinement of your energy has become undeniable. So much so that even your silence carries gravity. And without knowing how or why, your soulmate is already drawing closer. Not because of a chase, but because of resonance. Nature begins to echo your transformation. You notice birds flying in pairs, a sudden shift in the wind, a beam of light at just the right moment. These aren't coincidences. They're confirmations. The outer world is mirroring your inner alignment. Even the sky seems to whisper back your knowing. Yes, you're ready. Your aura is no longer out of sync with life. It pulses in rhythm with something ancient, something divine. When love arrives now, it won't come as a storm or a lesson wrapped in pain. It will come as a remembering, as something that feels like home, not because it's perfect, but because you've stopped seeking perfection. You no longer cling to illusions. You don't beg love to stay. You speak your truth and let what's real remain. And the ones who do, those are the ones who were always meant to walk with you. Your aura no longer guards itself out of fear. It opens out of readiness. Compliments don't make you uncomfortable anymore. You receive them, not with ego, but with grace. You no longer deflect kindness. You let it land. Because you know now that love was never meant to be earned. It was meant to be welcomed. And the armor you once wore has softened into openness. You've stopped feeding distractions to quiet the ache. You sit with your soul now. You listen. And in that stillness, you've tuned yourself to a higher frequency. You no longer dream just to escape. You envision to evolve. Romance is no longer your rescue mission. It's your sacred collaboration. And your aura reflects that maturity with every step you take. You don't rush the timing anymore. You've made peace with divine delay because you know the love you're calling in isn't fragile. It needs roots, and you've been growing those roots within yourself. Your value doesn't hang on a relationship status. You know who you are. And that knowing radiates from your being like a quiet crown. Seen or unseen, it changes the room. You're not lonely for people. You're longing for presence. And that difference has rewritten the entire vibration of your aura. You notice now, the right ones stay with ease. They don't leave you guessing. They don't drain your light. They recognize it and stay, not out of need, but out of alignment. There's a presence walking with you now. Your future self, your unseen guides, those who've come before. You feel them in the quiet moments, in the pauses between breaths. And your aura has become a bridge between the physical and the unseen. You're no longer afraid of the unknown. You welcome it like a trusted guest. Your soulmate is not a prize for all the pain. They are a reflection of the love you've become. And your aura, shaped by the sacred undoing of false stories, now shines with a quiet kind of worthiness. You've let go of the fairy tales that told you love would save you. Now you know, love will meet you where you've already done the saving. You don't pretend anymore. You don't audition. You don't perform just to be noticed. The validation that once soothed your wounds is no longer your fuel. You've made peace with being seen only by the few who truly see. And now your aura chooses where it glows, instead of begging for a stage. There's a softness in your expression that says, I have nothing to prove. But in your eyes lives a fierce knowing, one that speaks of survival, of growth, of unwavering truth. That balance within you is rare, and your aura sends out the call to the one who's made the same journey. They'll know, not through logic, through vibration. You no longer seek intensity for the thrill of it. You crave something deeper, something that stays, something that listens. And your energy has stopped entertaining chaos disguised as love. Now it makes room only for what's grounded, what's stable, what's sacred. When you meditate, when you breathe into stillness, your heart speaks a language beyond words. It whispers, I am ready, not desperate, not afraid, just faithful. And that whisper travels far, even into the dreams of the one meant for you. They may not know why they're changing, why they're being pulled, but their soul hears you, and it knows. You've become the waiting place, not a holding cell, but a sanctuary. And when they arrive, they won't just find you, they'll realize they found home. Something inside you shifted the moment you stopped asking, where are they? And started wondering, am I ready to truly receive? That one change in intention rewired your energy. Your aura no longer reaches outward in desperation. It draws inward in alignment. You've become magnetic, not from effort, but from presence. And now, even on quiet days, even in the pause between events, you can feel it, like you're standing on the edge of something inevitable. That stillness carries a hum, a subtle echo, a gentle pull. It's them, their energy brushing up against your life before their body ever arrives. Your aura has already sensed it, an unseen thread weaving them into your timeline. And with that awareness, something beautiful has happened. You've begun to trust, not blindly but deeply. Even when life feels uncertain, even when nothing around you makes sense, your energy holds peace. Not because everything is perfect, but because you no longer need perfection to feel safe. Fear no longer shapes your readiness. Trust does. And love. Love always follows trust. You've come to understand that your boundaries aren't walls. They're doors with sacred locks. They don't keep love out. They protect love once it enters. Only those with matching hearts may pass now, and your aura guards that threshold with quiet grace. You've started to see love in the smallest things, a child's laughter bouncing off the walls, the way rain touches leaves like a lullaby, the smell of your morning tea. That sense of wonder, that holy noticing, it isn't just spiritual, it's magnetic. Your soulmate is being drawn to it like someone hearing a forgotten song that suddenly feels like home. Your heart isn't pleading to be chosen anymore. It's ready to choose. That readiness ripples through your aura. You're no longer searching, you're preparing. You've made space in your days, your dreams, your soul. You've cleared the old clutter, the thoughts that once told you to settle, the fears that begged you to stay small. Now your energy says clearly, there is room here, not for fantasy, for truth, for two. You no longer crave constant proof of love. You've come to trust the silence between moments, the gentle gestures, the steady presence, the sacred rhythm of love that doesn't perform, but simply stays. That trust has become your signature. And now, without effort, your field is welcoming what your words no longer need to ask for. Your aura is in ceremony, already unfolding the welcome mat, already whispering, I'm ready. There's a new kind of ease in your skin. The tension is gone. You've stopped twisting yourself into palatable shapes. You no longer shrink for comfort or dim to be digestible. You've forgiven what needed releasing. Not because they apologized, but because you needed to let go. And that forgiveness softened you, not into weakness, but into wisdom. And that softness now surrounds you like velvet. It holds space, real space, the kind where love can breathe. You've stopped hiding your sensitivity. You lead with it now, not as a wound, but as a compass. Your sensitivity is your superpower, your spiritual radar, and your aura sings with the frequency of someone who feels everything and still chooses to love. That choice makes you magnetic. That choice makes you rare. You don't dream of rescue anymore. You've rescued yourself too many times to believe in that story. You've stared down your pain, unflinching. And now your aura doesn't speak of survival as suffering, it speaks of triumph. Quiet, graceful triumph. Quiet, graceful triumph. When you enter a room, people feel something. They can't name it, but they pause. That's your field speaking. That's your soul whispering across dimensions to the one who's meant to hear it. You've made peace with your emotions. They come and go, and you no longer fight the waves. You let them wash through you, knowing they're messengers, not enemies. That inner peace has transformed your aura into shelter, safe, still, spacious. And in that space, someone else can land and breathe. You've become lighter, more playful. You laugh more freely, move more easily. You're not dragging old wounds around like chains anymore. You've released the need to prove your pain. Now you dance in your joy, and that joy is impossible to ignore. It hums through your aura like sunlight through open windows. There's less noise in your heart. The arguments with life have faded. You've stopped trying to bend the world into something it's not. And in that surrender, your aura cleared. Now it's a mirror, clean and calm, reflecting love back to itself. The love you've become, the love that's coming. You know now, you've never been hard to love. You were simply offering your sacred heart to hands that weren't strong enough to carry it. And now, your aura waits, not anxiously, not passively, but faithfully, for the one whose soul recognizes yours, not as a prize, not as a puzzle, but as home. You no longer beg to be understood. You've become the kind of presence that doesn't need explanation, only recognition. And soon someone will, without hesitation, without confusion. They'll see you, and they'll know. You've stopped searching for answers in all the places that never truly held them. Instead, you've turned inward, and in that turning, something sacred was born. You've made peace with the mystery of yourself, not needing to understand every layer, but honoring the depth, the nuance, the pieces that don't need to be solved to be beautiful. That mystery has become your glow, subtle, magnetic, impossible to imitate, and now it draws in only the ones meant to truly see you. The universe is clearer now. Its voice doesn't yell. It gently taps through a line in a book, a fleeting moment of eye contact with a stranger, a song lyric, a name glowing unexpectedly on a screen. Your aura has become a finely tuned antenna for divine guidance. You're not chasing signs. You're living in them. You've stopped needing closure like it's owed to you. You created your own. You answered your own questions. You filled the silence others left behind with your own presence. And now your aura doesn't echo with confusion. It hums with completion. Even your loneliness has changed its shape. It no longer feels like a void. It feels like open land, sacred, fertile, ready. That's how love knows where to land. It seeks out the souls who have cultivated peace within their solitude. Your body, this home you've lived in through every chapter, you've begun to treat it with reverence. You speak to it softly, feed it with intention, move it not to punish but to celebrate. And before anyone ever feels your touch, they'll sense that reverence glowing through your skin like sunlight. You're not chasing excitement anymore. You're seeking resonance. That rare feeling of this fits, this feels true, this hums in harmony. And your aura, fine-tuned and honest, is now playing that frequency with such clarity, only those who resonate can hear it. You've stopped putting love on a pedestal. You see it now for what it really is. Flawed, raw, sacred in its humanness. And because of that, your energy doesn't seduce, it sustains. It doesn't burn out, it warms. The love you long for is no longer a fever. It's a fireplace. It's peace. And your aura, softened by years of unraveling and rebuilding, reflects that peace without saying a word. The way you speak now has changed too. There's a pause between your words, a calm in your tone. Every sentence carries intention. That clarity has become a filter, keeping falsehood out and truth cradled safely within. You've dropped the fantasy of being chosen like a prize. You've chosen yourself. Fully without condition, your aura doesn't whisper, "Am I enough?" anymore. It declares, "I am ready." You find yourself smiling without reason now, laughing over nothing. That joy? That's your soul blooming. That's your aura syncing with the frequency of love. Because love recognizes joy as a sign of aliveness. It's drawn to it like gravity. The past doesn't haunt you anymore. You've blessed it and let it go. Even the heartbreaks that once carved you hollow, now they shine like soft lanterns behind you. Your aura no longer drags ancestral sorrow. It carries wisdom instead. You've stopped fearing silence. You seek it, because silence is no longer empty. It's the music your aura plays when the one you're waiting for is near, not in body, in energy. Love doesn't need to be controlled anymore. It doesn't need a plan or a timeline. It will arrive the way the tide does. Slow, sure, unstoppable. And your aura already recognizes its rhythm. You've grown tender, but not fragile. This tenderness is a power of its own, a message to the one who has also shed the ego and is ready to love from the soul. You don't want to be fixed. You want to be walked with. And that shift has transformed your aura from a contract to a companion. You no longer seek love that is loud for the sake of being loud. You seek love that is real, that is quiet and intentional, that walks in not to impress, but to stay. Waiting no longer feels like punishment. It feels like preparation. You feel it now, your aura preparing a space that only one soul will ever fit. The noise is gone. The hunger is gone. You trust your inner compass like never before. It's what whispers. We only say yes to what feels sacred. And when they come, they won't come rushing in like a wave. They'll approach the temple your aura has become with reverence, not because you demand it, but because they can feel that it's the only way. You've stopped confusing chaos with connection. You crave peace now, and that craving shines from you like a beacon. You don't fantasize anymore. You sense. You know. In the quiet, you can feel them, not as a wish, but as a reality forming just beyond the veil. Your aura is the doorway. They're already close. You've let go of the deadline. Love is no longer a race to the altar. It's a homecoming. That freedom, it's turned your aura into something expansive, generous, divine. You're not projecting lack anymore. You're radiating presence. And presence is the portal. And through that portal, love walks.